Hello there, peoples of the internets, once again to another devlog, finally. So, what happened? I came back from the 3-week thing, like that summer camp kind of job thing, and then guess what? Had another camp. This time it was a tech camp, and I actually made this thing, and there's another piece to it, but I'll be making a video on those weird engineering projects probably later on. But then I had to go after that 2-week camp back to the other camp for another 2 weeks. Well, I didn't have to, but it was definitely something that I really wanted to do, so I did. And yeah, I mean, that was a really great experience, but the fact of it was that I couldn't record any videos while that was going on. And then school started, so that was a little tough. Now I'm kind of in the groove of things. School has been going on for like 2 weeks or like a week and a half, so we're kind of back in the zone. So that being said, I actually did do a lot of stuff, primarily with crafting. So first things first, I'm actually going to ignore that thing really quickly and run up here to the crafting recipe, or to the, the crafting bench. So I'll open that up. And now crafting works really well. So you guys remember that old weird test recipe with a chicken drumstick, a battle axe, and a stick? Well, now it works. So when I hit craft, first off, you'll notice that when I do have the correct recipe, it'll highlight the craft button when I roll over it. Or when I scroll over it, that means that it's ready to craft. And when I click on it, the items disappear, and I get my new item. In this case, it's just a battle axe. Just again, this is just a fake recipe to test the thing. Another thing is that you'll see here there's another recipe which is just a stick. So right there, you see that it is craftable. I'm not going to click on it yet. If I go over and put down the axe, there you go. It detects that that is not the correct recipe and that you can only have that one item in there, and then it'll create the result item. Another thing I added, which I've only added in the background, you can't actually see it in the game yet, is when you create a item, when you craft something, you have a small % chance, and it depends per recipe. You can set different recipe difficulties, and the difficulty determines the % chance you have of actually failing in crafting that recipe. So what I mean is that when you craft something, it can turn into junk. I haven't added junk as like an item yet, because I want that to be the result sometimes, but it just says in the background text like, oh, you failed, but it'll still create the item for now. That's going to also be determined later on. I'm going to add, when I add like stats for the player, your crafting skill. The more you craft, the higher the crafting skill rises, obviously, and that sets down the difficulty of items, so you get a smaller and smaller chance as you're better and better of crafting junk. That's the idea with that. Now, what is this weird thing? Obviously the art for this is a little bit wonky. I made it very quickly just to test it out. It's probably going to change, but what is this? This is a forge. So let's run over here. Also, you'll notice that I added, if you have the crafting or the forging menu open and you run away from that thing, then it'll close it automatically, because obviously you can't like forge out in mid-space. So I'm going to mine up some of this iron right here. I'm going to pick this up, and we'll send it over to here. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll also need to look really quickly. Aha, there we go. We got a stick. Very good. So I'm going to put that there. And now I'm going to run over to the forge, and I'm going to put down my iron. But obviously, I can't craft anything without fuel. So I'm going to take my stick. In this case, the only fuel right now is this stick. I'm going to take that and place that right in the fuel area. And now you see that it's craftable. So I'm going to hit craft and wait a little bit. And then in a little bit of time, there you go, it turns into iron. I've also added iron ingots, as you can see here. I'm going to also add a graphic that shows the time being like as it's ticking up and finishing up the recipe. Right now you just have to wait a little bit. Also, the item has to be deleted. That's just another thing really quickly that I need to do. So obviously there's a lot of polishing still needing to be done, but the general mechanics are there. The crafting works. It's really, really intuitive. It's really nice. And now it's all about finally, obviously, polishing it and then adding a lot of content. So what I'm going to do for this, guys, is submit any kind of item or item crafting recipe that you want, anything at all, to my email, to the comments down here in the Facebook, tweet it at me, comment on the Game Jolt site. I'm going to have all the links down there in the description. But send me any ideas, any recipe ideas you can think of, and who knows, they just might end up in the game, that would be really awesome. And I'll totally give you a shout out if I like use your recipe or something like that. No guarantees, obviously, on using every single thing people send, if there is a lot. But yeah. Another thing is the timeline. So what are we looking at for actually finishing this game? Obviously, this game has been in production for a really long time in one way or another. Maybe not as officially as it is now, but it's still, you know, kind of been a while. So with crafting now coming to a close, the inventory still needs to get those stacks. Like I still need to create that stack mechanic where you see like how many items are stacked in one place. But that aside, that's not a super necessary feature. So what's like the major feature that needs to get done for this game to really have all the mechanics, the core mechanics it needs? That's questing. So the quest system is probably the next big thing that I'm going to be working on after I just polish up the crafting a little bit and add some content for that. I'm also going to be releasing on GameJolt a lot more often. I want to make that a goal, is having a pretty consistent release rate on GameJolt so you guys can actually play this game and try it out and give me your feedback. Another big thing is music. So I actually spoke to Danik again, and we're back with making music. I've actually been making some myself and sending it to him to kind of make it bigger and better produced. And you guys can probably hear that in a little bit. I've also got a little bit of extra time this weekend and actually a couple days after as well, so I'm going to be working a lot more on the game. One final thing is, I've noticed that even though school does take up a major amount of my time, just like it did last year, it's huge now even more because now in 12th grade there's college applications and all that. But I always have like at least one odd hour off that I can kind of just do whatever. At least 1 hour. So what I think I'm going to do is start doing time lapses or like Twitch streams for maybe like an hour a day, just whenever I have the time to work on this game. And then I'll record that as a time lapse and put it out as a video so you guys have more content on the channel and there's more content in the game and more time I spend working on it. Obviously the more time, the better. So that's pretty much it, I think, for everything. Let me just check really quickly the changelog. So, walk out of range, yep, I fixed, oh yeah, there was a bug with menu overlays, it's just a basic thing. Did that, iron ingots, you can't place, oh yeah, there's also like, for example, with item slots, just like the last devlog you saw, there was a bug where you could put multiple items in just a single item slot. You can't do that anymore, which is obviously good. What else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So that's all. I might also add an enchanting table. Like I've been working on some stuff here. Here's some behind the scenes art. So like some sort of weird kind of like sacrificial enchanting table or something like that. Weird skull with glowing eyes. But yeah, I don't know how that'll work out. I just kind of was bored, so I made that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, give it a like. Give me any feedback you guys can think of. And yeah, just check out everything, and there you go. Bye!